reversal of form. Most people here expected the Red Baron to dominate the race. And you have to wonder at this point whether the Red Baron might have experienced some mechanical difficulty which has kept it back. Now as they fly by, and Crocker is on the verge of lapping Hamilton's tail end plane. They're flying at more than 400 miles per hour. And now Crocker moves right past Lloyd Hamilton. So he has already lapped the last place plane. 7 planes began the race. Only 5 are left. The first pilot to pull out was one of the favorites, Mac McLean.
What happened, Mac?
I really don't know. We just lost the engine.
Lost the engine before the race began.
Yeah, I thought I could get it back, and it would have been too dangerous to continue because I'm not sure I could have kept it running.
Do you think the problem was in the cylinder bank, which was entirely replaced during the course of last night's work?
No, that's not it. The stacks are too clean. It's really a mystery. I don't know.
Something else that you hadn't foreseen before the race?
That's it. The guys worked real hard, but it just didn't work.
I know it's a big disappointment to you. Tough break.
Next year.
John Crocker in the lead is flying his plane at the outer limits of its power. And just as in auto racing, the risk is greatest when the throttle is all the way open. As a racing pilot flies, he must be alert to changes in all directions, left and right, above and below. He must also be aware of any minute changes in the performance and handling of his airplane. All this while absorbing the strain of 5G turns. The physical demands are many, and the mental demands need not be spoken. It is a sport in which your first mistake is usually your last. Crocker, the leader, in number 6. Behind him, chasing him, stalking him, Steve Hinton's number 5, the Red Baron. Crocker's plane silhouetted against the blue sky as it turns toward the front straight once again. And now Hinton must prepare the Red Baron for one last push, because in a moment, the white flag will be out and there will be only one lap to go. Remember, the Red Baron is a plane which has flown at a speed of more than 499 miles per hour. Faster than any other propeller-driven airplane has ever flown. Now less than one lap to go. Crocker still solidly in the lead. Behind him, Steve Hinton pushing the Red Baron. And the supporters in both pits are up and cheering, ready for this last lap of drama. As the Red Baron goes past the straightaway to begin the last lap, there is a huge margin to make up. Crocker's plane still performing smoothly as it has throughout the race. But for the moment, it seems that the Red Baron is starting to pick up ground. Behind the 2 leaders, Claybo's number 85 is pushing Putman in 86 for 3rd place. Here's Claybo as he works to catch Putman. And here's John Crocker. In a matter of moments, he'll be turning toward home and victory. It's a gap of more than 7 seconds before the Red Baron comes into view. The puff of smoke at the tail of the Red Baron, an indication of how hard Hinton is working the plane to try to catch up. But that kind of margin is insurmountable at this point in the race. And this will be a major upset, because the Red Baron, which has won this race 2 years in a row, has dominated Crocker's plane in previous competition. The checkered flag is just moments away. And there it is. Crocker's plane will pass in front of the grandstand. The crowd cheers the upset victory. The Red Baron, strangely wobbly and seemingly out of control as it passes in front of the grandstand. The celebration has already begun in Crocker's pit. But now something strange is happening out on the horizon. Steve Hinton has pulled the Red Baron up and out of formation, a sure sign the plane is in trouble. This is a moment of terrible anticipation.
You're gonna make it, John. Don't care, I love it. hold your position. We got an emergency.
Suddenly, the joy and excitement of the race has been forgotten. The public address announcer relays a message from race director Bob Hoover that Steve Hinton has been lost. A few hundred yards beyond the race course, the twisted wreckage of the Baron is at the center of a scene of frenzied activity.
Get that bottle closer down. Get that spitzer over here.
For Baron owner Ed Browning and Hinton's girlfriend Karen, there is no hope. But at the scene of the crash, medics have recovered Steve Hinton from the shattered cockpit of the Baron. And for the moment, miraculously, he's still alive. The Baron's devastated crew members help each other away from the scene. And now this medevac helicopter is the key to survival for Steve Hinton. For John Crocker, there hasn't yet been time enough to return his plane to the pits, but already his victory is of secondary importance. He has been reminded, as have all the pilots here, that when you go out to race an airplane, winning is the second thing you should think about. The first is to stay alive.
Well, that was last September, and you're looking at a live shot in our New York studio of Steve Hinton, and I might also point out an alive shot. Healthy, and it's hard to believe. Steve, briefly, the injuries incurred?
Well, I broke my back and my right leg and my left ankle.
We saw you in that final lap. Obviously, there was trouble. What went wrong with the airplane?
Well, actually just started shaking on the final finish of the race there, so I was throttling back to finish the race, and then I turned away to, make a quick landing, and about halfway through the turn, the engine quit cold, and I just couldn't make the runway.
We talked to our producer, Bryce Wiseman. He said that you were just as cool and as calm and as collected in those final few seconds before you went in. That's kind of hard to believe. You knew you were going to go crash, though.
Well, yeah, I was just mad at the thing because it quit me the way it did, and just looking for a place to put it, and turned it as far as it would go, and it just paid off too soon. I couldn't get away from the rough terrain, and that's why all the smoke and fire.
Steve, you're a veteran pilot. There must have been thoughts in your mind as you were fighting and, as you say, were angry with your aircraft. There must have been thoughts, too, that it was highly probable you were not going to get out of that.
Well, I thought it did kind of occur to me there when I saw those rocks. But, what could you do? You just try to make a controlled crash is what I did.
Controlled as opposed to, otherwise you could have pulled it up and lost it totally, I guess.
Yeah, or I could have tried to, suck it real tight, and it might have stalled on me, and I ended up upside down or something.
What is the thrill in this?
Well, it's hard to describe. It's just the speed and competition, you against the next guy. It's really a great thrill when you're racing. A mechanical thing too. You tune your engine better than the next guy, type thing.
I'll ask you another question. Are you going to do it again?
I'd sure like to, but I don't think circumstances are going to allow it.
Steve, we really appreciate your coming on. And once again, for all of us at ABC, we're glad you're healthy, hale and hearty, and back flying again.
Well, thank you.
Steve Hinton. Still to come on Wide World, highlights of last Monday's championship fights and interviews with the title holders. But